Hello students, today we are going to do a chapter from biology, life process. So welcome to my channel, Shalini Tutorial Classes. Now what is life process? The process which together perform the functions of maintenance of life is called as life process. All living things are called organisms, both plants and animals. Yes. But children, have you ever thought of that how do we decide whether something is living or non-living? No? Now let me tell you. It depends on the 7 process whether something is living or not. Like when you look at externally the physical body, whether the body is walking or not, breathing or not, okay, these are the symptoms by which you can consider whether the body is alive or not. Similarly, there are some processes which keep going inside our body which determine that whether the organism is living or dead. These processes are known as life process. Okay, all these processes are interrelated. They are connected to each other and help us to maintain the procedure of our life, the different activities which we perform in our life. Okay, for example, respiration. If you don't breathe in and out, you won't survive. Nutrition. You need food to energy. It gives you energy. The food gives you energy to perform the various activities. Yes or no? For example, a day when you have a fast, the next day you feel very weakness kind because you didn't have that nutrient intake in your body. And what you take inside your body, that needs to be digested, no? Your body needs to digest it. If it is not digested, you feel like upset stomach, vomiting. These are the symptoms you face. Issues come. And then after the digested food, digested food will give you the energy to perform your activities. Similarly, the one which is wasted, which is not required by the body, you can't keep it accumulated inside your body, right? Every day at home also, the things which is not required, every day we sweep it out of our room and throw it in the dustbin, because you can't keep those things inside your room, otherwise your house will start stinking. Similarly, in our body also, the unwanted things need to be excreted out to maintain that healthy body system. So, do you understand? Each one is how correlated to each one. Nutrition related to digestion, digestion related to excretion. Okay, so and these all are very important. If any one of the function not working properly, you can't maintain your healthy body. Understood? So today we are going to discuss all these, the different topics which are important for our life process. Okay. Now it is question might come, why teacher life process is important? If the question is there in your mind, then what would be my simple answer to that? Life process is important to carry out the daily life activities, to produce energy, to maintain this homeostasis of the body. Okay, and it helps us to survive with the different changes taking place in our surrounding, in our environment. Okay, so life process is very important. So in this chapter we will explore what is life process, the different functions of it, the modes of them, the structure, how do they work, the functioning of each. Now as you come across that there are so many points to be discussed, and I thought that it won't be a justice to conclude all the point in one video itself. It won't be the proper justice. So I decided that each function I'll segregate them in different parts. So children, if you want to have a look of all the process, please you need to watch the separate videos for everything. Like for nutrition it would be a separate video, for respiration it would be separate. Thus I have segregated them so that it would be easier for you also to understand and absorb inside. One lengthy one will make it monotonous, and that interest, the lack of interest comes over there, and you people won't be able to cope up. Okay, so to avoid all these circumstances, I have segregated them in different part wise, and so for each one you need to go to the different videos and have a look. Okay, and for that, the first thing what you have to do is to subscribe my channel so that you are updated with all the videos upcoming. So moving ahead, the different life process, the first in this video I have taken up with nutrition. Okay, now what is nutrition? Nutrition is the intake of nutrients in our body. Nutrients means the different kind of diets in your diet you take, no, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, fats, proteins, these all are called as nutrients. Okay, now in this nutrients, the one which you take in larger quantities are called as macronutrients. For example, carbohydrate, fats, protein, you take this in large quantities. Okay, your dal, your vegetable, pulses and all. And the nutrients which you are taking in smaller quantities, for example vitamins, they are not required in large quantities in for your body, then they are known as micronutrients. Okay, now in this to understand the life process, we have nutrition in two groups: nutrition in plants, nutrition in animals. Okay, now plants are what? Plants are autotrophs, whereas animals are heterotrophs. Now what do autotrophs and heterotrophs mean? These are the two modes of nutrition. So if you get a question, what are the two modes of nutrition, your answer should be autotrophic and heterotrophic. Now to understand much better, let's take single topic. First autotrophic, and then I'll move on to heterotrophic. Now autotrophic is the one which is like the one organism which prepare its own food, synthesizes its own food. And heterotrophic, as we discussed, they are dependent on the raw materials of other sources to prepare their own food. For example, plants, they synthesize their own food, and we human beings, we are heterotrophic. We depend, like you might say, no ma'am, we are not dependent, our mother cooked food on her own, we are not dependent. That is not at all the question of preparing. That preparing is different and synthesizing is different. Like for example, if a plant need to prepare the food, what it will do? It will take the materials which are present in the atmosphere, that is the carbon dioxide, sunlight and all, it's taking up that. Whereas when an animal has to prepare a food, for example what we are doing, we are cooking vegetables, pulses, where from these are coming? We are taking it from a plant only, no? That means we are not having that synthesis, like we are dependent on the other source, right? So plants are termed to be the producers, they are producing the food, and we are dependent on the producers, and thus we are termed as consumers. Got it, children? Plants, what they do, they prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis. They are taking the sunlight, carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, water from the soil absorbed by the roots, and in the leaf, the green pigment which is present over there, it helps to dissociate that light energy which comes, and from there it synthesizes the process of photosynthesis. So in a very simple language, right from very junior classes you have been studying, plants prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is what? It is a kind of a autotrophic nutrition which is processed by autotrophs, that is plants. They take in carbon dioxide and water and convert these in carbohydrates in the presence of chlorophyll 2, which is there in the chloroplast of the leaf, and in the presence of sunlight. Okay, so this whole process is called as photosynthesis. If we want to write it in the form of equation, what it would be? Carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. So in the arrow mark, you just indicate sunlight and chlorophyll, and what does it give? Sugar, that is C6H12O6, oxygen and water, which is a byproduct. Okay, so if in the examination you get a question, what is photosynthesis, don't just simply write the definition. Please try to quote the equation also. Like I have observed when we do the corrections, children, and we show the papers to the children, and the moment you people get the papers, you start comparing it with your friends, your partner, your benchmates, and come to the teacher, like, teacher, the same answer she wrote or he wrote, and he got 3 out of 3 and I got 2, I got 1.5. Why so? Why I have not got that? That question comes to you, no? Why, teacher? So let me tell you what's the reason. I take a very small example of this photosynthesis only. If the teacher gave you the question, what is photosynthesis? So of course teacher would like you people to behave in the class what you are. Your answer should reflect that, okay, this class child has written. So like in a junior section 5 or 6, you used to write plants prepare their own food by photosynthesis. What do you expect? What marks teacher would give you? Since you are not incorrect, she has to give some marks. But if you are writing the definition in a proper of your class level, because the things you are studying from the junior classes, it is being upgraded depending on your level of the class, it's been upgraded. So the same photosynthesis definition which you earlier you used to write, that photosynthesis is a process by which plants prepare their own food. Now how do you write that? That it is an autotrophic nutrition process fulfilled by autotrophs. What are the autotrophs? The plants, and they take in carbon dioxide and water and convert them into carbohydrates. Okay, that is the sugar complex form, and it is done in the presence of chlorophyll 2. And where is that chlorophyll 2 is present? In the chloroplast in the leaf and in the presence of sunlight. So these are the points which mark your class. Now understood why the same answer, the question, the other of your friends getting different marks? What is the reason behind? And on to that, if you quote the equation also, that impress the teacher. Yes, the child is well prepared. Understood? And moreover to that, if you draw a very simple diagram, I'm not talking about to be a very professional artist and all, a very simple 2-3 twigs and the leaves and the plant showing over there and the sun, and just with an arrow mark, just the way I try to put up in the slide. So try to get your answer more presentable in examination, which will fetch you marks. Because I know children, every child study and has acquired what the class is going on. But where you lack in the form of presentation of your answer, which plays the vital role in fetching the marks. Okay, so if the question comes, what are the raw materials for the photosynthesis, then your answer should be the things which are used in the process, that is sunlight, chlorophyll, carbon dioxide, water. Okay, and if they ask what is the site of photosynthesis, site means where does it occur, the location of that, then it should be the chloroplast in the leaf. Why? Because chloroplast contain the chlorophyll 2, that is the green pigment, which helps in the process of photosynthesis. And if they ask what is the main event, what is the main, only one single word if I want, then the main is over here, the absorption of light energy by the chlorophyll 2 pigment. This is the main event. So understood children? The same photosynthesis which you would thought of, oh, this topic I know very well, I can answer. But now after hearing to me, you would be able in a position to understand the difference of your answer level and why the difference in the marks you are seeing in your answer sheets. Clear? So a very quick review, what we have learned. that the leaves, in the presence of sunlight, the leaves and the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, the chlorophyll too, they all work together, and that light which is absorbed by the chlorophyll too helps in converting the light energy to chemical energy. And the water which is taken by the roots, that water gets splits, that water molecule splits into what? H2O water, that it splits in hydrogen and oxygen. Understood? So this is the whole process of photosynthesis, which is performed by autotrophs, that is plants. Clear? No confusion? Now the same it happens like even in the dark forms also. When the sunlight is not present, then the rate of photosynthesis would be less because of the darkness, but because the leaf lamina and everything is having that vascular bundles, that phloem and xylem, you know very well, xylem which conducts the minerals and water from the roots to the leaves, as we call leaf as a kitchen of the plant. And the leaves, they prepare the food, and the prepared food is transmitted to the different parts of the plant body through phloem. Okay, so xylem is one which is conducting from roots to the leaf, and phloem conducting the prepared food from the leaf to the different parts of the plant body. Now in this, when we were discussing, water is been intake. Now a time will come that the water level which is there inside is enough, and plant don't need any water anymore. Then what it wants? It needs to excrete it. Now how you will understand that yes, the water level is more in the plant, it has sufficient water? See, the stomata, the opening pores present in the leaves, they become turgid. Turgid means very kind of tightness. If your bottle is full of water, your water bottle, when it is completely filled with water, you can see that it is, when you hold, you can't, it's not so easy to squeeze it. Yes, but when it is half empty or half filled, then you are in a position to compress them, because it has the water molecules, the spaces to escape in between the empty ones in the bottle inside. Similarly, in the leaf also, when the plant content, water content is more in the plant, the stomatal openings, the turgidity is there, it gets the tightness is there, and at that time what it does, the stomata pores gets open, they open and they diffuse the extra water from the plant to the environment by the process of transpiration. Transpiration, you remember, the exchange of water molecules to the environment by the plant because of the turgidity in the stomata. So the stomata openings, they are responsible for maintaining that water level. If it is more, then through transpiration it will help to skip them out. Now as we have done autotrophs, that they do their prepare their own food by the inorganic sources, and they are the producers. Now we are moving ahead to heterotrophs, that is the one which is depending on the energy of the others. Okay, so heterotrophic nutrition, an organism apart from plant cannot synthesize own food. So how it is dependent on breaking down the complex organic substances present in the environment for nutrition. This is what we are going to discuss. Now heterotrophic nutrition, there are mainly 4 kinds. Okay, holozoic, saprobiotic, parasitic, mutualistic. Now holozoic means the digestion of the food inside the body. Like we human beings, we are holozoic, we digest the food inside our body. Saprobiotic means they feed on the dead organic bodies, the one which were living once upon a time and now are dead. So what they do externally, they feed themselves on that dead organism. Okay, and then the third one is parasitic. Parasitic means they obtain food from the another organism by living inside it. So we say now some virus or something, that germ or that bacteria gets inside our body and they take the nutrient from our organism and they feed themselves. Whereas the mutualistic, it is a two-way nutritional gain for two different organisms. Like both of them are mutually understanding and sharing. Like for suppose you have prepared your chemistry notes and your friend has prepared your physics notes, and what you decided that why to waste time in preparing two different notes. When the turn of chemistry will come, I'll share with you, and when the term of physics will come, you share with me. By this mutually you are understanding and you are fulfilling your requirements. So that is called mutualistically. Both the organism both living on each other, depending on each other, and fulfilling the nutrient diets of each one's. Clear? So apart from this, from your for your syllabus, these first three are the main one, that is holozoic, saprophytic, and the parasitics. The organism in holozoic, as we know that we take in the food that is being digested inside our body only, and saprophytic, dead remaining and feeding from there, and parasitic, nutrients obtained as a host, they come inside your body or outside and they feed themselves with the nutrient on the body on which they are surviving. Now in the same manner, we will talk about the nutrition, how it goes on amoeba. Now amoeba, what it does, like a food particle is there in front of it, it will enlarge its body gets enlarged, and what it does, it engulfs that food particle, and that process by which it enlarges and engulfing, that is called as pseudopodia, and the food particle is inside and then it is being digested. Okay, what happens, that in this organism, the nutrition, they take the food using the temporary finger like projections over there, the extensions which they have, and they fuse the food particle inside them, and the complex substances are broken down into simpler ones, which then diffuses into the cytoplasm of their body, and the remaining undigested food is again moved out of the surface and is thrown out. Excuse me. Understood what happens in amoeba, how the nutrition is taken in, and that process by which it is engulfing the food, that is called as pseudopodia. So if separately the question comes, what is pseudopodia? It is the movement of the finger-like projections of the amoeba by which it engulfs the food and take it inside for digestion. That is called pseudopodia, the movement of the amoeba. So how many processes are involved in that? Number one, I'm so sorry. So the number one is ingestion of the food inside the body. Number two, the digestion, that is through pseudopodia movement when it takes it inside. Then is the absorption, it absorbs all the nutrients which is present inside that food particle and assimilates, means utilizes it, and then the one which is not required is excreted out of the body. So this is the whole process. Now how do that amoeba reproduce? Like the form of pseudopodia you saw for nutrition, similarly a fully parent cell, okay, and they have the nucleus present inside that cytoplasm. That nucleus plays a very important role. Now when it elongates and it divides, so if even it has a small bit of nucleus also, then that part will survive as a daughter cell. That means in that division the nucleus is required. If in that smaller divisions which it is having, if nuclear is not present, that won't survive as a daughter cell. It can't be considered as a daughter cell. You need that elongation of that nucleus and that nucleus to be present in that separated part, then only it could survive. So this is the way how amoeba reproduce or get divided into the daughter cell. Very simple. The body gets elongated along with the nucleus, and to each part wherever the nucleus is there within, that will survive as a daughter cell, whereas the other will left behind as a dead one. Clear? Now, so the whole process in this, you will come across one more term that is called as phagocytosis. Now, what is this phagocytosis? This is the mode of nutrition in amoeba known as, means the process of obtaining the food is called as phagocytosis. Okay, and the food when is digested and the unwanted waste is released through the body through the body surface. I hope children this much is clear to you all. Now moving ahead with the nutrition in human beings. How does it happens? Now we human beings are also heterotrophics. We are dependent on the other source of food, and we can be termed as carnivorous, because we are the ones who have both plant eating and as well as flesh eating we are considered, and we take this food in the complex form and break them down into simpler substances, and this is done in our body by the digestive system present inside our body. Now in this digestive system, what does it comes along? What do we have? That is the alimentary canal and the glands which are associated with it. Okay, now what is alimentary canal and all? See, when you have a look of the diagram of the human body, you will come to see the different sequence, like from the mouth to the esophagus, that is also known as the food pipe, the stomach, the small intestine and the large intestine. So the nutrition in human beings, what happen in the humans, the digestion of the food takes place in the alimentary canal, and which is made up of the various organs and the glands, which are also called as associated glands of the alimentary canal. Now what happens, we take the food from the mouth, okay, and put to the crust into the small particles through chewing and mixing with the help of the saliva which is present inside our mouth, okay. And what happens, the starch, when the food is chewed, it gets mixed with the saliva, and this saliva contains the amylase enzyme which is helpful for the digestion, okay. And once the food is properly chewed and it is being swallowed, then what happens, the food passes through the pharynx and the esophagus to reach the stomach, okay. And in the stomach, the gastric juice which contains pepsin, this pepsin which is the digestive protein, it is there in the gastric juice present inside the stomach, and it helps in the digestion process. Now what happens, inside our stomach we also have the hydrochloric acid creation, which is an acidic medium, and it facilitates the action of the enzyme pepsin, okay. And the mucus protects the inner lining of the stomach from the action of the acid under normal conditions. Means what happens, when inside the stomach, every now and then after a particular period of time, the HCl gas is being released, okay, which helps in the digestion of the food. Now what happens, if for a long time you have not taken any food, or you are in a fast, or you are busy in some activity, and due to some cause you need to skip your lunch or the breakfast, what happens, after some time you have a slight pain which you have in your stomach is due to the accumulation of the HCl gas. What happens, no food is there because you have not intaken anything, and on what that HCl is going to act? HCl actually what it does, it acts on the food which is present inside your stomach and helps in the digestion. But if you have not any food inside your stomach, then what happens, that gas, HCl gas, is accumulating inside, and which in a henceforth will give a kind of a pain in your stomach, and then you realize that, oh, I'm feeling hungry. We also call it in a normal term as hunger pain. Yes, so actually what it is the accumulation of HCl gas. Okay, and that is for the reason the people who are suffering from acidity, they are advised to take a little intakes of the food at particular intervals of time, not to wait for the breakfast, lunch and dinner, the slots which normally everybody follows. They in between. So children, for the nutrition in human beings, the food which is taken through our mouth, chewed by our teeth, the food is rolled, tasted, or you can say even the help of swallowing and pushing down the food is done by the tongue. And the salivary glands which are there, it secretes saliva and mucus, which helps in digestion of the food. Then it moves from there through your food pipe. Okay, from mouth to the stomach is being carried, and that movement of the food which is from the food pipe through the food pipe, that is called as peristaltic movements. Means it is actually what happened, it contracts and expands the muscles. Like when you chew and the food goes slowly down, you can feel that outside your throat, you can feel that contraction and the expansion of the muscles of your food pipe. Okay, that is only known as peristaltic movement. Okay, now from there the food enters inside your stomach. Now in the stomach, what happens, the gastric juice which is secreted, that helps the food to be digested properly. And in the gastric juice we have a combination of pepsin, HCl and mucus. Now pepsin, what it does, it is a kind of enzyme which helps in the breakdown of the proteins present in our food. HCl makes the medium acidic so that it is easy for digestion, and the mucus which is there, it helps the lining of the stomach. As we already discussed, the HCl which is released, it is acidic, so it helps the mucus, it's kind of a protective layer and helps the inner lining of the stomach. Now from there the food passes to the small intestine. In the small intestine, the carbohydrates, protein, fats are completely digested into glucose, okay, amino acid, fatty acid and glycerols. So these three macronutrients are converted to simpler substances, that is glucose, fatty acid and all these are in simpler form, so that the food can be properly digested. Okay, now in small intestines, the villi of the small intestine, they are like finger like projections. They actually what, so these projections of the small intestine, they absorb the digested food and supply it to each and every cell of the body. Okay, and the unabsorbed food is sent into the large intestine. Okay, and over there what happens, the whole absorbed food which is digested is converted into the energy form, which gives us the energy to perform the various activities of our life. And the rest of the one, which is kind of a waste which is not required by our body, is removed from the body via the anus. Okay, so nutrition in human beings, right from the mouth goes to the stomach, then the small intestine, and then through the large intestine, and the extra excreted one through the anus is been removed out. So it is a complete cycle from mouth to the anus. How does it goes? Okay children, we have discussed all these points. So I think now if in examination it comes, explain the 5 stages of the human nutrition, you will be in a position to explain it in your own words. You just have to begin with the stages right from the mouth to the anus, how the food goes on, and in very simple language, the way I have just the points which we have used in explanation right now, you just use it. Like from the mouth, what's the role of the teeth, what's the role of the tongue, and slowly how does it goes, and the process how it enters to the small intestine and then the large intestine, and the waste one which is not required by the body is being excreted by the anus. So this is the whole what you're going to write in the 5 stages of the human nutrition. I hope children the whole concept is clear, the flow chart is clear, how the nutrition in human beings happens. So after this, the food, when this nutrition what we take, after this the role comes of the digestive system, which is a different topic. Okay, so till here the nutrition part, what we supposed to discuss, what we have decided right at the beginning of the video, that each functions been segregated as part 1, part 2 videos. So in this segment, till the nutrition we have completed. I hope you have understood the different kinds of nutrition in plants, animals, in amoeba and the human beings. And for the other functions of the life process, please subscribe the channel and stay tuned and watch the next part of the video. Thank you. Bye bye and have a nice day.